It is interesting to note that anybody can run for a position in politics and anybody can win, qualified or not. I grew up in California, left there for permanent 1983. I have watched as California has eroded and corroded year after year by foolish Democrat leaders allowing illegals to flood and surge into California, draconian mask mandates during COVID 19, including a governor and a government that was arresting a kayaker on the Pacific Ocean as if they have jurisdiction for that, filling in skate parks with dirt, destroying playground equipment so that kids wouldn't show up. All this while Gavin Newsom goes to a French restaurant to have a $300 truffle dinner with no mask with medical people and his wife, all of who should know better. The question needs to be asked, did Gavin Newsom really believe in the mask mandate by Paul Fauci? You got to wonder. Gavin Newsom is not just another corporate spacky. He is all of that. The gelled, spiked hair. He looks like somebody who would punch you in the face if you disagreed with him. He's not a nice man. He was propped up by corrupt Pelosi and Kamala Harris. Lots of money thrown his way by the California Teachers Union to make sure that his evilness is installed in the next election, which he won. California is facing some historic problems. California's always had wildfires and droughts and the ebb and flow of massive rains, which cause mudslides and other problems. But under Gavin Newsom, the state of California has had a major surge in crime. The foolishness of Democrat leaders in saying that the police are not going to respond unless it's over $900 of theft, and seeing people troop in and out of major department stores in San Francisco and everywhere, stealing as much as they want. And Gavin Newsom and the Democrats will not allow business owners to defend themselves, trying to pass legislation that makes it against the law for people that work in a business establishment to attempt to stop the would-be thieves. Tell me how this makes sense. I personally think every shop owner has a right to sit at the entrance with a machine gun and say, you go out that door without paying for that, I'm going to blow your legs off. Gavin Newsom is not good for California. Only ignorant people voted him in. We have in our country, without a doubt, wrecking ball citizens that for whatever reason want to sit on piles of money and tell everybody how wonderful it is to be socialist. I might actually believe them if they lived that life and didn't have the massive bank accounts they have. Hey Siri, Gavin Newsom's net worth.
Gavin Newsom's net worth was $20 million in 2022.
A measly $20 million. And this is the thing that Pacific cannot comprehend, is all of these political leaders that are making big splashes with outlandish, insane, dictatorial strides into supporting the green movement, telling you can't have your V8 engine, can't have a gas-powered lawnmower or leaf blower. Wonder how that's going to work for golf courses and public parks, and you're going to have a hell of an extension cord or a charge. I actually looked at, for me, I thought I see advantages in electric, quiet. They don't make all that noise, don't have all that stinky exhaust. The prices of an electric mower were a joke. You would think that an electric gas or electric lawnmower would be cheaper. Oh no. They had a walk behind push mower for $1,000 self-propelled. The charge lasted a whole hour. Wow, that's just a waste of money. The outlay for this electric is ridiculous. And I can buy a cheap Murray at the flea market for $175 new. What do you think I am going to do? Save the planet or save my money? It's pretty obvious. The Go Green movement is a form of tyranny, and it is exactly that. Go green, meaning your green dollars are going to fly out of your wallet. This is not about preserving anything. That is a lie. It's a dog and pony show. It's a smoke and mirrors, sleight of hand. Gavin Newsom does not believe in the Bible. He does not believe in the book of Revelation and does not believe that prophecy that was stated in Scripture has been fulfilled to the letter of the law, and Revelation is yet forthcoming, and that is how the world is going to end. Gavin Newsom is unconcerned about Biden's middle school style provocation of Russia. And I, even on the street yesterday, when I went to the area flea market, ran into a brother friend or a brother of a friend of mine from my workplace. The arrogance among Americans that Russia ain't going to do anything to us. We'll take them out. Please note that warships were seen off the Florida coast from Russia, that a high-tech, highly advanced submarine came cruising into Cuba, and America had to scramble and get some boats down there, and Canada sent one too. And you have Zelensky, who to me is a dangerous man, begging America for money. Zelensky does not respect Christian faith or anything, and now they're blaming Putin and Russia for destroying churches. That's media fake news, summa cum laude. Gavin Newsom looks like a poster boy for gelled hair commercials. I'll bet you he's never walked behind a lawnmower in his life. I remember my grandpa had a few of the old fashioned with the two wheels and the blades that you literally manually pushed. And if those blades are sharp, you got a nice close cut. You got to work out. I lived in northern Minnesota in Virginia for a couple of years and found one in the garage. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to use this. And I did. And the neighbors were laughing like, look at him mowing the lawn with that old thing. I said, man, it works. I'm open to things that work. I'm remodeling my house. I'm asked, in fact, I have to go over to a girlfriend now, her house, and take out some sheetrock where the job was done terrible and water overflowed and the washing machine got on the wall and molded. I have to tear out the sheetrock, clean it up, pull out the insulation, and redo it. And Gavin Newsom is not a working man. Most of these politicians on the left have never worked a hard, honest, physical day in their life. They have not worked at factories. They've not done construction. They have not driven semi-trucks like Biden claimed he was a truck driver. Biden clearly has a problem with lying. But Gavin Newsom is a special kind of danger. The rumor mill is going that it is possible that the Democrats will remove Biden from even running. His incompetence is getting worse. And they might try to stuff Gavin Newsom in for the presidential election. And we all know what's going to happen there. The Democrats will get behind him. They seem to like Adolf Hitler-style tyrants. And I'm going to say that. Gavin Newsom is not a man who supports freedom. Well, let me correct that. Gavin Newsom supports freedom for himself to make as much money as he wants, to break the rules, to live the lifestyle he wants. Gavin Newsom's the guy that would buy a Lexus and run right through a school bus stop sign. That's the way I view him. He's an arrogant, egotistical megalomaniac who looks like a poster boy of many silly looking grown American men with spiky hair gel. You want this running our country? He's destroyed the state of California. He has ruined it. And when confronted with the facts, he's in complete denial. Complete denial about the crime. Complete denial that California is constantly being tore up by natural disasters. Of course, he just coolly, summarily dismisses it as spherical heating is causing all this. California has always had a problem when the evening news comes on and we're supposed to be told how important some Hollywood goofball is who's on her seventh marriage or, yeah. California has always been out of touch with reality. But it used to be led by good people. Ronald Reagan was governor. California, as a state, could stand alone on its own gross domestic product more than any other state in the union. Diversity of geology and landscape. From the lowest elevation on earth down in Death Valley, or even the Salton Sea, I think, beats that, to the redwood forest and moist, wet environments in Northern California, to volcanic cones, some which are dormant but could be active. California is a diverse state, geographically speaking. You have the ocean, you have the mountains, you have the deserts. Gavin Newsom, if he was to run for president and win, you will see your rights stripped. You will have your guns removed. You will have your free speech censored. You will be told you can't drive any of what you're currently driving. Gavin Newsom is a foolish person. And what bothers me, his arrogance is propped up by his supporters, his bank accounts. He's got protection. No one can get near him. But he has subjugated Californians to raw danger with letting illegals pour in. Now he's going to send in the National Guard to the border. Oh, too little, too late, Spacky. And I don't like Gavin Newsom. He's a danger to U.S. citizens. He's a megalomaniac. And his foolishness in thinking that banning leaf blowers, lawnmowers, and the sales of cars to run on gas engines in 2035 is going to save the planet truly reveals his ignorance. Gavin Newsom fails to realize more people in this country are dying by dangerous drivers that are dying by what comes out of the tailpipe. That the Democrats don't like to talk about statistics because they interfere with their emotionally driven truth. More people in this country are killed by reckless, aggressive, lawless drivers that look at the speed limit and ignore it, will not put on a turn signal, spend $80,000 for a Silverado hoopty, and can't even operate the vehicle in a safe manner. No campaign is done nationwide to get drivers to come back to following traffic laws, being defensive drivers, to stop speeding, to stop tailgating, to stop doing the dumb things that they do. Playing with their phones, texting, fiddling with the radio, eating a bowl of Cheerios while shifting gears, dog on the lap. Nothing is done. But we got to be told by the evening news and by the clowns on the left how dangerous guns are. I'll bet you Gavin has a gun. I'll bet you he's got bodyguards and protection that have guns. I don't think they're coming around with fuzzy handcuffs. It's laughable. So the Democrats believe in being armed. They believe in all the arms being transferred from citizens to them. They believe in all of the wealth being transferred to them. Gavin Newsom is an asshat. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. He doesn't live the socialist model. He lives like Adolf Hitler and anybody else, indulges himself in what he wants to indulge in, and then tells everybody else, do not, as I say, do not do as I do, but do as I say. Anybody that spent $300 for a truffle dinner when people were losing their businesses and Mr. Cool hair gel could care less. That's not a good leader. And all this lying about saving the planet. Does man really think he's going to save the planet? If man would read Revelation, God is not interested in recycling the globe. You have bowl, trumpet, and vial judgments that are going to come down, bringing famine, war, destruction, possible meteorite called wormwood hitting the ocean, destroying a third of the ships in the sea life, and turning the waters to blood. Yeah, Gavin, you might want to freshen up on real history and real prophecy. You are not going to save this planet. Neither is anybody else. All you're doing is reappropriating funds to these go green ghouls that are ripping off people. Look at Tesla. Look at electric cars. Look at all of the problems with this. Can't charge them up in Chicago when the winter's too cold. Catching on fire, blowing up. The prices are ridiculous. How much does it cost to put a charging station in your home? And I believe it was Gavin last summer when we had California hot as usual. And he said, oh, don't charge up your car right now. The grid is taxed. Okay, let's get rid of gas lawnmowers and leaf blowers and cars in 2035. Good oversight there, buddy. Gavin Newsom is a prick. And I would say it to his face. This is not a leader. I bet you he'd pop somebody in the face if he was angry enough. I don't like him. He is not leadership material. He's a spacky. And what bothers me in this country more than these clowns getting in office is the clowns that vote them in. Yeah, I just wake up and got $20 million to my name, right? And I'm going to tell all of you, you need to go electric. You need to do this. I bet you he himself does not own an electric vehicle. We need to put that stuff on blast. We need to talk about his bank account. We need to say, is this an example of a true socialist? All the Democrats are hoarding wealth, got their investment accounts, got their bunkers, got their little escape hatches when they turn America into a shit soup. Gavin Newsom doesn't open up the governor's mansion for illegals and refugees. He's done nothing about hypodermic drug users and homeless littering the streets of California. Even a New York Times guy commented on the West Coast Democrats and how they're ruining the Western states, that there's been a surge in homelessness, but the Democrats are getting richer and richer. Don't y'all remember Democrats used to talk about rich Republicans? Boy, I'd like to know who they are. Look at the Democrat supporters. Zuckerberg, Gates, Warren Buffett, all the Google staff, all the Facebook staff, all the social media oligarchs, filthy, filthy, filthy rich. Oprah Winfrey. And look at the salaries of the Democrats. Look at their money. Promoting socialism, taking away your guns, putting sand in skate parks, busting up playground equipment to make sure that nobody gets together. But Gavin Newsom in his gel geekster hairstyle cruises on out there to a French restaurant, and his buddy and financial supporter, Nancy Pelosi, shows up at a California hair salon, towel wrapped around her silly little head, no mask. It's amazing how these clowns can violate the rules, and when caught, they just laugh. Rules for thee, but not for me. Gavin Newsom is an idiot. They need to drop his butt in the middle of a war field and say, here you go, buddy, here's your squirt gun. I don't respect that kind of leadership. I don't have to. Gavin Newsom is a danger. He's an ideologist that doesn't live by a model at all. None of the Democrats do. Did you hear AOC the other day talk about dangerous stuff coming out of these people's mouths? We need to hold the Supreme Court accountable. For what? See, the Democrats get angry when they don't get their way. They're like the little kid that was told he can't get the toy and screams and yells and makes a scene in the store. You heard what Joe Biden, you heard what the Democrat, we're going to pack the Supreme Court. We're going to pack everything. And so much for checks and balances. Gavin Newsom and people like him are not about checks and balances. They're about runaway ego and doing what they want. And don't you dare get in my way. Gavin Newsom had no compassion, no care for all the people that lost their businesses during the draconian COVID-19 lockdown. He didn't care. My uncle always taught me this, and it's true to this day. The Democrats' philosophy is, I got mine, screw you. That is a fact. That is not a specific opinion. That is a bona fide fact. Just like Animal Farm. Exactly like Animal Farm. The pigs took over the farmhouse, ordered the finest of food and wine while they made the animals work and took more of their rights away. And that is an exact illustration of how socialism works. It's an Amway scheme. Gavin Newsom is a poster child for a pyramid scheme. Gelled hair, smiling all the time, never has any struggles. Shoot, he's sitting on $20 million. He's got unlimited power to do whatever he wants. I'm waiting for that crap to go to the state Supreme Court. You cannot tell the people what they can drive and not drive. That is overreach. Somebody needs to stop the clown. And they need to stop Washington from getting involved in keeping corrupt, self-serving leaders in place. And I'm not even going to talk about the Republicans because that's not what this is about. I'm talking about Democrats promoting socialism, promoting strict, crazy laws. How does Gavin Newsom get around? Does he fly an electric plane? Does he fly an electric helicopter? Does he ride around in an electric limo? Liar, liar, pants on fire. And you got to stop with the gel, dude. You're too old for it. You're graying hair and you look silly. You strike all of us as a man who's never worked a hard day, doesn't understand blue collar, nor does he care. And the Democrats are seeking to wipe out the blue collar populace in the United States. That is a fact. They are creating a caste system of ultra rich and ultra poor. That's a fact. Gavin Newsom is dangerous. He is dangerous as a leader of anything. I wouldn't put him in charge of a daycare center. These people need to be stripped of their assets, their retirement accounts, and everything, since they have promoted stuff that infringes on the rights of modern and normal, ordinary Joes and Janes, hardworking Americans. It is hypocrisy when they promote socialism while sitting on 20 million. Oprah Winfrey is worth $1 billion, has 8 mansions. And she promotes this Democrat leftism. She's a real example of socialism, just like Adolf Hitler. He went wherever he wanted, had Fräuleins and girls, and went off to his little cabins while people were, I think of little Anne Frank. There is no difference between Gavin Newsom and Adolf Hitler. These are megalomaniac tyrants. If given the power to do so, they will squash me and you and our beliefs and our opinions. And that's the way they play, folks. What kind of idiots and fools would vote in Gavin Newsom and Whitmer in Michigan and Hochul, New York? Who would vote these incredibly arrogant, control Nazis in power. Sheep, ignorant people that tune into CNN. And how many of them own electric cars and have electric charging stations at their house? I'd be curious to see the percentages. None of the Democrats want to look at a glaring fact that most of the crimes that are violently committed are not done by conservative supporters, but by leftist losers. Mining lithium is crazy. It is expensive. And we're going to keep making batteries that cannot be legally disposed of anywhere, preserving the environment. The biggest lie by the left. Manners are gone. Respect in children, respect in the younger generation is almost a dinosaur. Crime is off the charts. And there's no concern by the Democrat left to turn that around. Oh, wow, I'm saving the environment, but I could get shot, killed, or ran over by a bad driver or homeless people everywhere. The Democrats are hypocrites, they're ignorant, and they don't see that they are a clear and ever present danger in this country when they are in control. They are not freedom loving. They throw the word democracy around. They do not know what the word democracy is. They do fail. Most Americans fail to catch that doublespeak. Pelosi and clown up in Canada, Justin Trudeau, they're a threat to democracy. America is not a democracy, people. It's a republic. You say the Pledge of Allegiance for the republic in which it stands. The sleight of hand, the lying, the misrepresentation, while Democrats claim to be advocates of democracy, what is the definition of democracy by them? You might want to find out because it isn't the same as what we understand. Gavin Newsom is a corporate cutthroat spacky. He will squash anybody that gets in his way. He is arrogant. He has lived the good life. He grew up in an era of gas guzzling cars and everything else, and now he wants to tell everybody that they don't have a right to any of that. It's funny how these people show up. His governor's mansion wasn't built by electric supporting people. In fact, the entire infrastructure that he uses was not built by people concerned about saving the planet. And he uses the infrastructure. If you really want to talk about something, why don't you talk about Americans' addiction to spending goo gobs of money on SUVs? If you really want to save the environment, Gavin, why don't you tell companies to stop making crap products and washers and dryers that blow up in 2 years? I'm being facetious, but you got to buy a 2-year warranty for a new product. I never heard of that with the old GEs, Whirlpools, Kenmore's, Maytags. They lasted 25, 30 years. Remember the old Speed Queens? They don't build them like that anymore. Where's the Democrats so concerned about preserving the environment, telling companies, stop making shit products and charging ridiculous prices for them? Where's the Democrats' concern for human life when they support and legislate the killing of 61 million children under the banner of abortion? Where's the Democrats' care for life when more people statistically are killed by bad, lawless, selfish, aggressive, road rage drivers than are killed by firearms in the U.S.? Mr. Spacky in California needs to do some damn research and close his mouth and stop telling people what they can and cannot buy, drive, or own or use. When they want to come out with something that is better than what I have, that doesn't cost me more, now you got a selling point. I would totally support going to quieter engines. I would totally support going to non-emission vehicles. They're not practical. I love transportation. I like diesel engines. I like coal-fired Titanic ships. I am all for changing things and making things better. How we go about it and what the Democrats are doing is irrational. slamming it down, forcing everybody to comply. Gavin Newsom is a hypocrite. Did he come before the country repentant, being caught with no mask, with medical staff and his wife, all of them grown adults, screaming and yelling about the need for masks? And they weren't the only ones. Pelosi did it. Pelosi, her typical knee-jerk reaction was blame the hair salon. This was just shut up. No, girl, you didn't follow the rules. You were fining people in the House. You should be called out. You should be made an embarrassment. It's too bad you can't fire these people when they don't follow their own rules. No, unfortunately, you have to vote them out. Nancy Pelosi is a self-serving drunk whose net worth is also ridiculous. Hey, Siri. Nancy Pelosi's net worth.
Nancy Pelosi's net worth was $125 million in 2022.
$125 million for a public servant. Not nice. All these clowns on the left have gotten filthy rich being in office. I've always had a problem with office. The guys that build the towers, the skyscrapers, dangerous work, do not get paid the amount of money some clown in an office gets. I've always had a problem. The hardest physically working people get paid the least over pencil-pushing geeks with suits and ties that get in their Lexus and think they're better than everybody, don't follow traffic laws, will cut you off and you honk at them. How dare you? And you get one of these. Gavin Newsom is a poster child of millions of American douchebag men that are just like that. These aren't good people, folks. They're idiots. And this is not just my opinion. Gavin Newsom is a horseshit leader. He has not made California better. He doesn't care about that. He's got his lifeboat. He's got his money. He can escape and go wherever he wants. But I'm telling you, if that man runs for president and he wins, America is done. It is over. I never thought I would say this, but the most dangerous people to this country, more than anybody else, is a white, liberal, hair-gelled, sport and spacky like Gavin Newsom. They are cool, calculated. They don't care. They have no feeling and no heart for average, ordinary folks. They're liars. They're tyrants. They are an Adolf Hitler. And I believe that. Gavin Newsom does not know biblical history. Gavin Newsom does not know anything about prophecy. And why do I bring that up? Because they're not two separate things. You got a world, a subculture in America that's been governed by false teaching in the public schools called evolution, that man has to solve everything and how important man is while ignoring the Lord God. Gavin Newsom is an arrogant prick, a godless fool. Of course, he's going to come up with crazy stuff and then fail to follow his own rules. They do it all day long. I would have moved back to California years ago. Cannot. The taxes, the rules, the bureaucracy of California is a boa constrictor. Companies and people are leaving the state because they're so tired of it. Democrats are hypocrites, folks. This is not my opinion. They promote and tell you that socialism, censorship, and taking your firearms away and your right to drive the vehicle of your choice, while none of them live by those same rules themselves. Their bank accounts, their mansions, their exorbitant $300 a plate dinners, not following the rule in front of a nation watching. And when he was caught, all he did was give that Beavis and Butthead spacky with gel in the hair. I have never respected men like that. Oh, they're dangerous. They'll punch me. They'll beat me up. Think they're macho. They're pussies. They don't work a hard damn day in their life. They've never done construction, sheetrock, framing, truck driving. They haven't done a damn thing. And it's these kind of people that get voted in. And just like the song, Rich Men North of Richmond applies to Gavin Newsom. They don't roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. They live in their little cloistered, police protected. He has been defunding the police in California, but he's not defunding protection for his sorry ass. I believe that all these people that call for the defunding of the police should have no police watching their mansion, their neighborhoods. They should not be allowed to have burglar alarms, bouncers, guards. You think you're a badass? Stand out there in front of the public in your underwear and see if you can do what I've done. Move to a neighborhood that's got crime. Move to a neighborhood where I'm the minority. I don't have bodyguards and Secret Service and protection. I don't. Then these leaders are immune, insular, and they can slam down ridiculous mandates without giving any thought to myself. They don't care about us. They don't want us to be rich like them. They don't want us to be equal to them. They're tyrants. They're control freaks. They are a rebirth of a Nazi mentality. If you think I'm kidding, just keep watching what they're doing. And when these clowns call Trump Adolf Hitler and Gavin Newsom makes his arrogant comments, Trump is a far better leader than Clownface in California. He needs to lose the hair gel. He needs to roll up his sleeves and get dirty and get down there and do something about the homelessness and the out of control crime and the illegals. But he won't. It's business as usual. He gets his fatted paychecks, got his fatted bank accounts, and he's a clown. And the best thing that could happen to these people is keep being arrogant, keep being megalomaniac. Pride goeth before a fall. God's word is true, and every man be a liar. The arrogance of Americans thinking, oh, Russia can't do anything to us. Yep, and the Titanic was unsinkable, right? America is ripe for getting a can of whoop ass by the Almighty God. Gavin Newsom is just a systemic end product of ignorant people that are all about ego, all about control, lining their wallets at taxpayers' expense. Biden is pumping millions and millions of dollars into LGBT stuff this month. Talk about priorities. Finance the penis Olympics, the vagina Olympics, the sexual deviancy. While you got Russia barking at our back door saying, you gave Ukraine and Zelensky weapons and told him to use them in Russian territory. Is Biden that foolish that he does not realize that that is a direct act of America saying we are involved? And Americans are making dumb comments about Putin. I'm not defending Putin. I don't want to become Russian. But Putin has more collective smarts and more collective self-control than Biden does. Joe Biden, Hunter Biden are corrupt. The story of Jill and Joe is corrupt. Jill was with somebody else. Biden cut right in. Jill's a flutie, a flake, fake dyed blonde hair. Goes into that courtroom every day to protect her disgusting son, while good people don't even have parents to show up in their corner. The Democrats are a disgusting, vile, unethical, lawless, godless, filthy lot all. They have caused damage that they fail to see. And some of them don't care, and some of them are doing this on purpose. Gavin Newsom is a hypocrite, born in an America that was free. Got to be a capitalist, greedy pig, but promoting socialism. How does that work? Why is it the tyrants always got the biggest bank accounts, the mansions, the nice houses, can do whatever the hell they want, while people lose their jobs, lose their lives because of their sick policies? And these clowns call Trump Adolf Hitler. We're not going to get anywhere. This is a gridlocked system. You try to hurt Gavin Newsom, you will go down in flames. But they can elect policies and everything that fuck with your income, raise your taxes, and end you in the gutter. They do not care. They have no conscience. They deny the conscience that God Almighty gave them. That when you're a leader, you don't show favoritism towards the rich. You don't have an unequal justice system. Gavin Newsom is an idiot, allowing stores to be looted of $900 worth of merchandise, and the store owners cannot defend themselves or stop criminals. Only a Democrat moron would come up with crap like that. And I talk about this stuff because I wish I could get through, but you can't. The Democrats are a cult, like Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons or the Moonies or the flower children or the clowns promoting Hare Krishna back in airports back in the day when I came into the world. They're brainwashed. They don't see the error of their ways. They don't see the darkness of their ways. They get up every morning and everything revolves around their ego. They make sure their bank accounts are protected. They make sure their lifeboat's in the swung out position. They don't care about Pacific. And dumb, ignorant sheeple that listen to CNN, MSNBC, PBS, ABC, NBC, CBS, NPR, and all these garbage news networks that is no longer professional journalism, but brainwash, spin, leftist-leaning bullshit, continues to bulldoze out the lies, editing, changing, spinning, shaping stories to believe what they want you to believe. Gavin Newsom is a turd in office. Gavin Newsom is not good for America. This is not just my opinion. He's got a state that's spiraling out of control. Oh, gotta save the planet. You're not saving a damn thing, kid. You made your state more dangerous. People are leaving it. He wanted to punish people for leaving. That's called control freak. Wanted to tax people for leaving the state. Who does these things? Democrats. Punishing a kayaker on the Pacific. Well, he was on the beach. Yeah, only because you pulled him in. You don't have control over the damn water. They were so worried about that, but Gavin Newsom freely struts and get his truffle dinner for $300 with no mask. Where were the cops? Where was the arrest? You see, that one right there is why American people don't like people like you, because you're liars, you're hypocrites. You like to control everybody. Justin Trudeau, one of the worst pussies to run a country ever. Another man who you can tell by looking at him has never worked a hard day in his life. He's worried about how his disgusting professional attire looks. He showed what he believes about working class America, the way he treated the truckers and stole their GoFundMe accounts. Why Canada didn't stand up and say, you can't do that, dude, is beyond me. I'm going to say this. Honestly, it might come to the point where some of these leaders, well, they just need to have some unfortunate circumstances hit them, because that's the only way you're going to get rid of this crap. Voting them out doesn't work. The election's all about money. But millions of Americans are tired of Biden and Gavin Newsom and all that, and we don't have a voice. And AOC wants to hold the Supreme Court accountable. A bartender with big tits, more substance in these things than in here. Proof that any clown can get elected to politics, and that's all we get is clowns. Send in the clowns. We don't get leaders. We don't get roll up your sleeves and get down dirty in the workplace. We don't get those kind. Politicians, which are bullshitters, hot air blowhards, fat bank accounts, living in gated communities and protection. They all need to be rounded up and put in the most dangerous high crime neighborhoods without any guns, without any protection, without any police favoritism, and see how it goes with them. They're the ones that have created the dangerous, hostile American environment. They're the ones that sat back and watched Californians and people riot and didn't lift a finger to stop it. Nobody came to Gavin's mansion and tried to burn his down. I wish they did. I wish they'd come after every Democrat and pillage their nice little estates so that they can see in living color how it feels. See, Democrats are not bright people. They don't live by the golden rule. The only golden rule they live by is he who has the gold rules. Zuckerberg allowing kiddie porn on Facebook under reels, girls with titties and nipples underage jumping around. Hard not to notice that stuff if you have a normal biology, men, right? And it's paraded and promoted, and Facebook isn't being called into court for that. So I had a daughter, and I put a video of her out there with a midriff shirt and the nipples poking through and the underboob showing. The feds would be at my door for child porn. But reels can do it all day long. See, if you got the money, you don't have to worry about justice coming after you. If you're a Democrat, you don't have to worry about justice coming after you. I'd rather vote for a convicted felon by leftist Salem witch trial, kangaroo court jackasses in New York than vote for a corrupt Biden who never gets his just due. The Democrats act like they're sinless. Nancy Pelosi says no one's above the law. Oh, you are. She should have been made a public example. Look at this. Fighting people saying you come through my house. Excuse me. That house is not yours. That belongs to the American citizens. She should have been fired. They need to enact legislation. When you do certain things, you don't get voted out. You're fired, barred forever from entering the political arena. We don't have checks and balances over corrupt politicians. They can vote their sorry ass selves a raise. They did it during Obamacare, 2008, the subprime mortgage scandal. The clowns voted themselves a raise. While people were losing jobs, couldn't get jobs, losing their mortgages and homes, and the Democrats don't give a shit. And many Republicans as well. Gavin Newsom is a corporate spacky. He has the corporate mindset. Thinks his ideas are so nouveau, chic. He doesn't care who it affects. He's just like corporate America. We're sorry. We know that your time is important. Bullshit. You're sorry. You care that my time is important. Well, then get another call center person instead of sending me on 20 minutes of voice labyrinths to go absolutely nowhere. Customer service. Okay, it sounds like you want customer service. Customer service. Well, let's see if we get customer service. Well, there's one more thing. Customer service. Fuck you. Give me a live person and shortcut this bullshit. You can't get to Gavin Newsom. You can't get to these people. Our views don't matter to them. They just get butthurt and mad and want to censor me and take away my job. AOC said it. Write a list of all the people voted for Trump and deny them employment. Okay, I'll agree with that. People that are bartenders that come up with radical shit who make $175,000 a year going from a big boob bimbo serving alcohol, telling the rest of the country that she gets to have complete control. Not only should she be fired, she'd be ordered to pay all that money back. Democrats don't believe in the golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. They don't want you to own a mansion. They don't want you to own a gun. They don't want you to have police protection. They get off on this. We're living in a time, folks, of the Roman amphitheater. You know, that big rotting structure that Americans like to have their pictures taken at? Shame on you. Christians were torn in half by lions, and you want to glorify that gladiator arena. It should be bombed and torn down. These black people want all these statues of Robert E. Lee torn down. That Roman amphitheater should be blown to smithereens. It's offensive to me because women leaned against the breast of their husband, getting orgasms watching people get torn apart. Gavin Newsom and the left enjoys what happens to the rest of us. They get off on it. People love violence in this country. Don't believe me? The Democrat machine called Hollywood, that's all they put out. Political narrative movies. They're not innocent, not even the comments. Remember Doonesbury by Trudeau? Sickening comic. It was piss poor, pushing leftist bullshit. Whatever happened to Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes and BC and all that good stuff? Dennis the Menace and Peanuts and can't remember that guy, his Family Circus. I have more leadership skills than Gavin Newsom does because anything I think about, I would think about how is this going to affect the common everyday person? What I would do is say California's going to clean up its bad drivers and we're not going to play with this anymore. And we're going to shut the border south of us. You cannot walk in here illegally. You get in here, we arrest you, you're going back. I wish I could control California. I wish I had a voice in California and get rid of Southern politics of San Francisco and LA dominating. Even North California wants to secede from it. And I wish that they could. There's some good people in California and they're being trampled on by militant, dominating, careless leftists who do not live in teepees on the Great Plains, who do not live the lifestyle of the Native Americans. Elizabeth Warren, one of the biggest liars out there, saying she was Native. Yeah, nice teepee, babe. Air conditioned, and how much is your taxes on that teepee? We need to speak out against these Democrats. We need to speak loudly and drown out every time they speak and say, you're liars and you're hypocrites and you don't lead by example and you need to be thrown out. That's what needs to happen. There is no other way. They don't want the rest of us to be where they are. They're control freaks. They want to shut the door for your chance to get to the American dream. They want to control people. They're so bored with their sickening lives. They want to be in politics until they're about to fall on a banana peel and go to the grave and control you. They can't just go enjoy their money and go enjoy Mai Tais or a margarita on a beach somewhere. They got to fuck with the rest of us. If I had $1 million, I'd quit my job right now and I would leave my current place. And I'd make it last the rest of my days. No, these Democrats are power-hungry zealots. They do not model any of what they're putting down on you or me. They're liars. They're hypocrites. They're conscienceless. They're, as Ann Coulter said in a book, godless. And for those of you that are Christians, we're not perfect. We struggle. We sin. But we see things that they don't. Blind people, blind to the truth of God, are not good leaders. Funding Zelensky, who's a tyrant, who does not accept evangelicals and Christian faith. He is the one who put Ukraine in danger, not Putin. and the U.S. funding that, anything the Democrats get behind is demonic. Anything. How they can coolly and summarily dismiss genocide that they've supported since the 60s. Screaming and yelling, well, a woman's going to use a coat hanger in an alley, let her, and charge her with murder. Why did our Supreme Court allow, and has anybody even paid attention to Roe v. Wade? The young lady involved in that is now a Christian and regrets it. Nope, the Democrats don't want to hear about that. They want to call it a fetus and a tissue blob, and you have no right to put your laws on a woman's body. Okay, hypocrites, you have no right to put a law on my bank account and on my earnings and what I can drive. That is not the job of a fucking government. That is Adolf Hitlerian to the core. It is not your job to take away the guns from Americans. It's your job to govern this country that we wouldn't need fucking guns. But when we have dangerous people like you that allow dangerous criminals and crimes to flourish, we need to have weapons. You're stupid, Democrats. No matter what you say, no matter the laughing and the mocking, all you are is accusers of the brethren. You're Satan. You're evil. 61 million people killed by the Democrat left. More than Hitler, more than Mussolini, Stalin, Lenin combined. Do your research. Calling it choice. There's one problem with that. There's a child in that womb that did not have a say in the matter. Don't call it choice. Call it women wanting to do whatever they selfishly wanted to do. No one wants to call abortion what it is. It is self-centered murder. Oh, I don't want the inconvenience of a child. I'll just get rid of it. It is murder, and they should be charged as such and put in a penitentiary for life. Just as much as Manson, just as much as Bundy. But this is America today. Calling used cars certified pre-owned. Calling murder choice. Reproductive rights. Oh, cute. Planned Parenthood. Sounds so nice. Just like the Southerners down here. Hi, how y'all doing? The minute your back is turned. He's such an idiot. The Democrats are dangerous for any society. If I was a leader, I would not support radical, crazed people like Ilhan Omar, AOC. I'd turn around and say, you all need to find something else to do. You're extremists. And this country is not going to be run by extremists. This country needs to be run by a constitution. People have the right to keep and bear arms. They have the right to add any butt stock or muzzle to their gun, and they have a right to buy ammo. But Gavin wants to make ammo expire, limit how many bullets you can buy. Why is that? Because they're afraid. That's why. Just like Australia and Germany did the same thing. Take away the guns, and then you have Adolf. Gavin Newsom, if he really believes in the Democrat left, get away from police protection, get rid of your fucking bodyguards, turn in your handgun, go buy that Prius, go live out on the Great Plains in a teepee and live off the land, and then I might have a little more respect for you, asshole. You're living off the fat of the land, and you're going to tell me that my rights need to be eroded while you live off the high, live high on the hog. I've got a problem with that. You have destroyed California. You're a tyrant. You're a Nazi. You're a control freak. You did not grow up on electric. And instead of encouraging companies to be competitive and better and create a product that is useful, because one thing I know about Americans, if you can design something that's better than a 302, that costs me less to operate, that's good for the environment, I'm already sold. But if you're going to tell me an $80,000 Tesla, when the batteries need to be replaced, is more than the damn car, and then I have to pay for a charging station, and I have to pay for electric, and you're going to limit my range of miles I can drive a day, I'm not comfortable with that. You see, you don't like freedom for us, but you can fly and globetrot. You're a governor. What are you doing over here? All politics is just a bunch of clowns getting in office that can have all kinds of field trips at taxpayers' expense, do whatever the hell they want while not living in a real world. Going and getting your fungal dinner at $300, you and medical professional, no masks, while you're screaming and yelling at Californians to social distance. And you are all right up against each other at that table. Gavin Newsom should have been thrown in prison for that. As a governor, as an example, as a leader. Nancy Pelosi should have been locked up. She should have been tried by the Supreme Court. You fined people, but you're in a hair salon with no mask. They never do. The Democrats never suffer at the hands of their own hypocrisy. That's why the Democratic Party is just, they're heaping their sins all the way piled to heaven. And when God finally steps off of his throne and decides to end that party and confront their arrogance and their pride, great is going to be their fall. And I don't care how much gel Gavin has in his hair and he's up there, yeah, God is going to knock him off his throne. It can't come soon enough. These are not leaders, folks. They're hypocrites. They're power-hungry zealots. They don't care about the good of the planet. Any clown that's spending $300 on a dinner does not care about hardworking Americans. He cared that his little French restaurant was open, but the rest had to be closed down. Did anybody confront that bullshit? Nancy Pelosi's hair salon was open while all the rest were told to shut down. There was a woman on YouTube who had a restaurant. She was ordered to shut down. Then the Democrats had some pig feeding trough out there with tents and everything, no social distancing, right across the street from a restaurant. She says, look at this, but I can't have my restaurant open right now. If Democrats really gave a shit about justice, most of them would be arrested for condoning the murder of children, for their hypocrisy, from stealing money from tax-paying, hardworking Americans to fund pet projects. Biden spending millions of dollars on LGBT. I think it's interesting. We're in dangerous times right now, and this administration cares more about that penis and vagina in your pants than anything else. Meanwhile, China is teaching its troops to be rigidly disciplined, not navel gazing or penis gazing. And same with Russia. And America has forgotten there are people that hate our guts and would love to see us stuffed in a trash can. Putin is laughing at us. And people over here, we can take Putin. Are you sure of that? Have you read in Ezekiel 38 that Russia and a whole bunch of Muslim nations are going to come against the mountains of Israel? Have you not read that? Why is the U.S. not involved in stopping them? Did it ever occur to you the U.S. is going to be smashed and destroyed before then? Well, you better wake up to the fact that that could be a reality. To whom much is given, much will be required. This country's in deep doo-doo. And we get what we deserve. California's imploding on itself. When Gavin Newsom's confronted with the rising crime, he had some sorry-ass, lame, blame game excuse, not taking any personal responsibility for anything. A typical corporate asshole. Corporate assholes are different people. I've said this before. I've seen it in my own workplace. You take somebody who's lowly down in this position like the rest of us, they pull her or him into the office, and you watch them change into a monster. Management grooms people. They watch people who have no conscience. They watch people who throw their fellow employees under the bus. They invite them in. That's corporate America, folks. Nasty, nasty, cutthroat people. And I don't care if it's Chick-fil-A. I don't care if it's Hobby Lobby. I don't care if they're Christian or not. They have a mindset of profit over everything else. Yes, Hobby Lobby stood on some principle. Yes, Chick-fil-A stood on some principle. But their bottom line is money and riches for themselves. making me ask the question, how much of Jesus do they really have? How much? They like to put it out there that they're a Christian. They like to attract Christian dollars while they become millionaires. The corporate mindset is not the same as the worker ant mindset. Most people I know want to work hard and enjoy their life when they get off work. Democrats don't want us to do that. They want to continue to destroy the wages, raise the cost of everything, turn us into a broken, fucked up country, and then make you slaves to their mighty machine. Amazon is doing it. Jeff Bezos is filthy rich. While there's so many rules and so much craziness and hurry, 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 he does not want 20-year longevity employees. He doesn't care. He's using the cannon fodder of people. Oh, I got people coming and going. I don't care. Take away Jeff Bezos' money, take away everything and put him in the gutter and watch him spin and writhe. They forget what it's like in a real world. Mark Zuckerberg is guilty of promoting, doing nothing to intervene or stop child pornography, but he'll censor you with his so-called fact check on anything that he believes that you say something against. His opinionated jackasses that don't know anything about facts come back, slam your post, put you in jail, remove your post, and say, "I independent fact checker." Independent my ass. They're Democrat butt-fucking buddies of yours. All in cahoots. And the Democratic Party is evil. It is led by the devil. Gavin Newsom is a poster child for the corporate cutthroat, give a damn spacky, hair gel and all. Ugly suits and ties. You see, Pacific has learned a long time ago, those suits and ties and that professional dress is not our friend. They're the ones putting a boa constrictor noose around our necks. They're the ones sucking away our freedoms. They're the ones telling us you can't enjoy a 302 V8. They're the ones telling you you can't just mow your lawn with a lawnmower. They want to tell you can't have a ceiling fan. Well, I'm in the South, folks. Good luck with that. Telling you can't use a gas stove while Hochul ran a Christmas show cooking on a gas stove. Interesting shit, isn't it? The hypocrisy of the left. They'll ban it for you, but they'll have it all in their homes. I talk about this Democratic Party because I can't say enough. I'm trying to get Americans to realize you need to vote these clowns out. You need to stop saying, "I don't vote." Excuses. Vote these Democrats out. They're destroying, and they will affect your life sooner rather than later. Gavin Newsom is a waste of skin in any leadership position. These people are brainwashed. They're bought and owned by leftist belief systems, which are dangerous. They don't believe that the Almighty God created us. They believe they're products of evolution. And they do embody the lies that they believe, survival of the fittest. And the Democrats have got the most money. They got the protection. They got the bodyguards. They got the bank accounts. They don't give a shit about you. They condone population control, and they're setting it in place right now. Starve us, raise the prices, take away our guns so they can squash us. Even Bill Gates said that healthcare should be not for everybody. Bill Gates said this. Poverty is the result of inferior genetics. Really, not corrupt leadership. Excuse me, like in the Philippines. Bill Gates is a dangerous man. He believes in population control. And we should have legislation that people who believe in abortion, people who believe in population control, we should start systematically by euthanizing all of them. We'll take their bank accounts, Oprah's and Maxine Waters, who's against a wall. is against us standing up to illegals. We need to tear down our wall, take our cameras away, and take away our police protection and say, okay, now you're equal to us. Face the music, biatch. Gavin Newsom should have no protection at all. Joe Biden should not have Secret Service protection. Stand or fall on your policies with the rest of us. You don't model a damn thing. You got privilege. You got protection. You can say and do whatever you want. Gavin Newsom is dangerous for America. This is Pacific.